Welcome back to our Grid Down Survival series. In today's episode, we delve into an essential topic: skill development and education. We'll traverse the terrain of fundamental survival skills, how to acquire and preserve food, basic first aid knowledge, and technical skills. We'll also touch on the importance of communication, navigation, and the power of community building and teaching. These skills can be the difference between merely surviving and truly thriving in a grid-down scenario. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support our series. First up, we're diving into the absolute basics. The trio of fundamental survival skills, water purification, fire starting, and shelter building, are the pillars of any survival scenario. Let's talk water purification first. We all know water is essential for life, but when you're out in the wilderness, not all water is safe to drink. Bacteria, viruses, and parasites lurk in natural water sources. Luckily, there are several ways to purify water. Boiling is a tried and true method. If you can get a fire going, you can purify water. Portable filters and purification tablets are also great options. Remember, when in doubt, purify. Speaking of fire, that brings us to our second fundamental skill. Fire provides warmth, a means to cook food, and a way to signal for help. It can also be a great morale booster. There are numerous ways to start a fire, from the traditional flint and steel to the modern fire starter kits. Practice makes perfect here. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to start a fire under any conditions. Finally, let's touch on shelter building. Shelter protects you from the elements and can provide a sense of security and comfort in an otherwise uncomfortable situation. The type of shelter you build will depend on your environment and the materials available. It could be as simple as a lean-to made from branches and leaves, or as complex as a snow cave. The key is to keep it insulated, dry, and big enough for you to get in but small enough to conserve heat. Remember, mastering these skills could mean the difference between life and death. They provide the foundation for survival, setting you up to tackle more complex challenges. So take the time to learn and practice these skills. They're worth their weight in gold when you're facing the unknown. Now let's talk about food. In a grid-down scenario, the supermarket won't be an option. You'll need to turn to the land for sustenance. Foraging, hunting, and fishing become essential skills. Foraging is the art of identifying and gathering edible plants. It's a skill honed over time and highly dependent on your environment. Whether it's berries in the woods or dandelions in your backyard, nature is a veritable pantry if you know where to look. Hunting and fishing, on the other hand, require a different set of skills. Patience, stealth, and accuracy are key here. From setting snares to stalking deer or casting a line to spearfishing, these practices can provide a valuable source of protein. But once you've gathered your food, you need to preserve it. In the absence of refrigeration, traditional methods of food preservation come into play. Let's dive into a few. Smoking is one of the oldest methods of preservation. By exposing food to smoke, you not only add flavor but also create an environment that's inhospitable to bacteria. Drying, another age-old technique, involves removing water from food to inhibit bacterial growth. Sun drying, air drying, or even using a makeshift dehydrator are all effective ways to dry your food. Finally, we have canning. This involves placing food in jars and heating them to kill off bacteria, yeasts, and molds. Once cooled, a vacuum seal forms, preserving the food inside. These methods can ensure a long-term food supply. They require practice and patience, but the payoff is self-sufficiency and the ability to survive when the chips are down. Remember, in a post-grid world, food is more than just sustenance. It's a connection to the earth, a testament to your survival skills, and a comforting reminder of life's simple pleasures. With these skills, you'll ensure a long-term food supply. Medical knowledge is another vital skill set. In a world where dialing 911 is no longer an option, being able to administer first aid becomes crucial. A basic understanding of how to treat common injuries can make the difference between life and death in a grid-down scenario. Let's start with the basics. Cuts, scrapes, and burns are common injuries that can occur at any time. Knowing how to clean a wound properly, apply a dressing, and when necessary, create a makeshift bandage can prevent infections and promote healing. Next, let's talk about sprains and fractures. It's important to know how to immobilize an injury using splints or slings, which you can make from materials around you. This can help alleviate pain and prevent further damage until the injured person can get more advanced medical help. In addition to physical injuries, understanding signs of dehydration, heat stroke, and hypothermia is key. Recognizing these signs early can allow you to take action before the situation worsens. Simple measures like ensuring someone stays hydrated or understands how to layer clothing properly can be life-saving. But what about when you don't have access to modern medicine? That's where natural remedies can come into play. Many plants have medicinal properties, such as willow bark for pain relief or aloe vera for burns. However, ensure you're well-versed in plant identification before using any natural remedies to avoid harmful mistakes. Finally, the essentials of a medical kit. You'll want to include items like bandages, antiseptics, tweezers, and a thermometer. Over-the-counter medications for pain, allergies, and stomach issues can also be beneficial. Remember, your medical kit should be tailored to your specific needs and those of your group. In a grid-down scenario, this knowledge can save lives. So take the time to learn, practice, and share these critical medical skills. Your future self may thank you. Being handy can be a lifesaver in a grid-down world. In a world without the convenience of calling a repairman or ordering a replacement part online, the ability to fix what's broken becomes invaluable. Let's delve into some basic technical and mechanical skills that can greatly benefit you in such a scenario. First off, we have the seemingly simple task of fixing a leaky roof. Rainwater seeping into your shelter can cause a host of problems, from dampness and cold to structural damage. Knowing how to patch a roof with available materials can keep you dry and warm. This skill involves identifying the leak source, removing damaged materials, and applying a waterproof patch. Next, let's talk about maintaining and repairing tools and equipment. Your tools are your lifeline. They help you build, hunt, cook, and perform countless other tasks. Keeping them in top shape is essential. This includes knowing how to sharpen a knife, oil a hinge, and tighten a loose bolt. What about larger equipment? Well, the same principles apply. Understanding the basic workings of your equipment, be it a generator, a water purifier, or a radio, can go a long way. You should be able to perform basic maintenance tasks and troubleshoot common issues. Everything from changing a flat tire to mending a broken radio antenna can fall into this category. And let's not forget about the importance of improvisation. In a post-grid world, you won't always have the right tool for the job. Being able to adapt and use what you have on hand is a skill in itself. A piece of wire can become a fishing hook, a broken glass shard can turn into a cutting tool, and an old t-shirt can serve as a bandage. In conclusion, technical and mechanical skills are about more than being a good handyman. They're about understanding the world around you, adapting to it, and making the most of what you have. These skills can make day-to-day life in a grid-down scenario much easier. Without modern technology, traditional methods of communication and navigation become crucial. This statement rings particularly true when facing a grid-down scenario. But fret not. With a bit of knowledge and practice, we can all become adept at these old-world skills. Let's begin with navigation. Now, we've all become comfortable with our GPS devices, but in a world without power, a good old-fashioned map and compass become your best friends. They're reliable, lightweight, and don't require batteries. Understanding topographical maps can help you locate water sources, identify safe passages, and find high ground. Learning to use a compass isn't just about finding north. It's about orienting yourself in your environment, finding your way back to a location, and even navigating in the dark. Now, let's move on to communication. In the absence of our everyday digital communication tools, we need to revert to non-digital methods. Radios can be a lifeline, providing information about weather conditions, emergency broadcasts, and even offering a way to communicate with others. Ham radios, in particular, are powerful tools in a grid-down situation, enabling long-range communication. Learning how to operate one can be immensely beneficial. Another useful method is signal flares. They're a great way to attract attention in case of emergencies. And let's not forget about the power of written messages. A well-placed note can save a life or bring comfort to someone in distress. Lastly, let's touch on the art of nonverbal communication. Signs and symbols have been used for millennia to convey messages. Learning universal signs for danger, direction, and resources can prove invaluable. Similarly, mastering simple semaphore or Morse code can enable communication across distances. Mastering these skills can help you connect with others and navigate your environment. They might seem archaic, but in a world without power, these skills can be the difference between being lost and being found, between isolation and community. So let's dust off those maps, pick up that compass, and start learning the language of the pre-digital world. Sharing knowledge and skills within your community is essential. And here's why. In a grid-down scenario, your community becomes your lifeline. It's the people around you who can lend a hand, share resources, provide emotional support, and yes, teach you something new. It's not just about survival, but thriving together. It's about creating a community that's resilient, adaptable, and capable of facing any challenge that comes its way. And the cornerstone of such a community is shared knowledge and skills. Imagine a scenario where one person in your community is skilled in foraging, another in first aid, yet another in repairing equipment. Each person brings something unique to the table, something that benefits everyone. And when this knowledge is shared, it multiplies. It's like a ripple effect, where the skills of one person can equip an entire community to better handle whatever comes their way. But it's not just about sharing what you know. It's also about being open to learning from others. We all have different experiences, different skills, and different wisdom to share. When we approach each other with curiosity and respect, we can learn so much more than we could on our own. In addition, teaching and learning together creates a bond, a sense of unity, and trust. It fosters cooperation, mutual respect, and understanding. It strengthens relationships and creates a sense of belonging. So, in a grid-down scenario, don't underestimate the importance of teaching and learning as a community. Share what you know, be open to learning, and remember that every person has something valuable to contribute. By doing so, you're not only ensuring your survival, but also creating a community that's resilient, capable, and ready to face any challenge. After all, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving together. And that starts with sharing knowledge and skills. Remember, a strong community is a resilient community. Now it's your turn. Just as a seed needs soil, water, and sunlight to grow, your survival skills need practice, learning, and community to flourish. Start with the basics: purifying water, starting a fire, and building a shelter. Once you've got those down, move on to food acquisition and preservation. Get your hands dirty by foraging, hunting, or fishing, and then learn how to preserve that food for the long haul. Don't forget about medical knowledge and first aid. It's crucial to know how to treat common injuries and ailments. Expand your skill set further by getting handy. Learn how to fix a leaky roof, repair a broken tool, or maintain your equipment. And remember, communication and navigation in a grid-down world are paramount. Reacquaint yourself with traditional methods like maps and compasses. Build and strengthen your community by sharing what you learn and learning from others. Share your progress and tips in the comments. If you find our content useful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Next time, we take a deep dive into the mind. In episode 7, we'll explore psychological preparedness. We'll unravel the importance of mental strength, emotional resilience, and the role of positive thinking in survival scenarios. We'll also shed light on coping mechanisms and stress management techniques to help you stay calm and focused when the going gets tough. It's a journey into the psyche like no other. You won't want to miss it. Thank you for tuning into our series. We've journeyed through the fundamental survival skills, delving into the essence of water purification, fire starting, and shelter building. We've explored the art of food acquisition and preservation, highlighting the importance of foraging, hunting, fishing, and traditional food preservation techniques. We've underscored the significance of medical knowledge and first aid, and the life-saving power they hold in a grid-down scenario. We also touched on the necessity of technical and mechanical skills, communication, navigation, and the power of community building and teaching. Remember, every skill you learn and every knowledge you acquire is an investment in your future resilience and independence. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving and building a sustainable life, even when the grid goes down. Stay prepared, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next episode. Together, we can navigate any challenge that comes our way.